What is going on, guys? I hope you're having an amazing day like I am when you realize that you don't have school tomorrow because of President's Day. I thought it was the perfect time to tell you guys about how I snuck into Disneyland. I know what you guys are thinking. You're like, oh my god, he broke into Disneyland. How do you do that? There's so many security guards. Well, one, I'm a professional finesser. I got certified by the state to be a finesser. And two, I had people with me that actually knew how to finesse. Like, I don't know how to finesse. I was just kidding about number one. I got scared for my life. I'm the type of person to not jaywalk, and I feel bad when I put the recycling in the trash and the trash in the recycling. I was actually so scared to sneak in that I actually bought a ticket because I just didn't want to feel, you know when you get an F on a bad test or you get caught doing something you're not supposed to, you're just like yeah, I don't like that feeling, so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna buy a ticket, it's cool. I'll tell you exactly what happened about why I needed to sneak in, even though I bought a ticket like I just told you. So let me start from the beginning. So, it was just a regular week. I didn't expect anything to happen, I just expected to go to the gym every day, school, and not do anything special. I got a text from my friend named Yvette. She texted me, hey, do you want to go to Disneyland? And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm down. She said, you don't need to buy a ticket, you can just use my brother's pass and just sneak in. As soon as she said sneak in, I kid you not, I was like, oh god, no, please, don't put me in that situation. Like, I didn't want to feel like a bitch or anything, but I was like, oh my god, just, you know what, I'm just gonna buy a ticket. I texted her that. I was like, I'll just buy a ticket, you know what, I don't wanna deal with all those heart problems that you're gonna give me. And she said, yeah, we're down. It's gonna be me and two other friends that are gonna go. I was like, oh, dope, yeah, it's for real, let's go. And so we ended up going on a Friday around 8 o'clock in the morning. Oh my god, I just could not wake myself up. The worst thing was, I was at the gym before. I go to 24-hour fitness, and so that gym is open all day. 24-hour fitness, if you're watching this, sponsor me. So I was there till about midnight playing basketball, and I totally forgot that I was going to Disneyland in the morning around 8 o'clock. And I usually have to wake up an hour and a half or 2 hours early to get ready. So I would have had to wake up like 6 hours later. And I am the worst at that. As soon as my alarm goes off, I'm just like, oh my god, please, no, just stop. 8 o'clock comes around and I got to Yvette's house, and two of our other friends were already there, Melissa and ASHLYN. And these two people are like the most opposite you can get from each other. ASHLYN, she sounds like she should be a Disney character. Just how she talks and stuff, and her laugh is just ridiculously funny. Like, her voice just screams Disney princess character.
Hey guys, it's ASHLYN, a princess ASHLYN. I'm here in my natural habitat at home.
And on the other hand, there's Melissa. Like, you ever set yourself up for a joke in front of your friends and then one of them just calls you out on it like right away? Yeah, that's Melissa. Like, she does that to me all the time. Anyways, it was just like me and three other girls in a car ride for like 2 hours. You would think it'd be like, oh my god, it's amazing, he's a pimp, he's going with three other girls, yeah. They were just all friends, and I have no game. So I was like, oh, it's cool, there's three other girls, maybe there should have been another dude to balance it out, you know what I mean? But I was cool with it, it was nothing. The only thing I had a problem with going with three girls to Disneyland was the drive up there. They played Disney music and the new soundtrack to 50 Shades Darker. So the whole time we were up there, they were singing all these songs, the 50 Shades Darker and all the Disney theme songs, and I was just like, oh, come on. After 2 hours of Disney music and 50 Shades Darker soundtrack, I was ready to get out, and finally made it to Disneyland, after, stressing over parking, which Disneyland cannot get their stuff together. Like, they're sending us to this parking lot and then that parking lot. Like, Disneyland, you gotta get your stuff together. Don't get me wrong, it's a cool place, but like an hour trying to park, that's an hour I could have spent eating. So I get to the park and I'm like, yeah, I'm good. You know what? I don't have to sneak in, I don't have no worries, I don't have school today. It's gonna be an amazing day. And so, as I was saying this, that feeling like you get out of taking a test, like you walk out the class and you're like, you know what, I feel like I did an amazing job, and then the next day you find out you got a D on it. That's the feeling I had as I was walking towards the entrance to Disneyland. Not a very good feeling to have. So as we got to the entrance, I let Yvette, ASHLYN, and Melissa walk in front of me like gentlemen do. And I walked up to the ticket lady, I was like, you know what, here's my ticket. And so she grabbed my ticket, she scanned it, it didn't work, and she was like, hold on, let me scan it again. I was like, oh my god. Come on, please don't do this to me. So she scanned it again, she said, yep, that's what I thought. I'm like, oh god, what? Did I buy a fake ticket? She said, no, you have to go to the ticket booths over there that sell the tickets and go talk to them. I was like, oh really? Come on. And so I walked over there with ASHLYN, I got to the window, and I gave them my ticket, and they were like, whoa, what is this? As soon as I said that, I was like, oh my god, what did I buy? And so the lady at the front desk didn't tell me anything, even though I was like, what's wrong with this? So she got up and walked to the back room and brought another lady with her and said, yep, this is a ticket for Disneyland in Paris. As soon as she said Paris, I'm like, wait, you mean like Paris? Like in Europe, Paris? Yup, I've never seen anything like this in my life. I was like, oh, it had to be me. Like they've never experienced that in their lives. Told me they couldn't do anything about it because it was for Disneyland in Paris and not Disneyland for California, and I was like, oh yeah, fuck my life. I grabbed the ticket and I start walking to the entrance of Disneyland. Ashlyn calls Yvette and says, yeah, Adrian's an idiot, he bought a Disneyland ticket for Paris. So Yvette comes out and she's like, you know, you could just sneak in, right? I was like, oh god, how am I gonna do this? How am I gonna sneak in? Just pretend to be my brother. God, alright, how old's your brother? Oh yeah, only 15. I know I got a baby face, but can I pass for 15? And as my self-esteem lowered from that, I was like, you know what? Fine, I'll do it. You know, I live on the edge sometimes. Sometimes I don't pay for the parking meter. Let's do this. So if you didn't know, the reason why I'm scared about sneaking in with her brother's pass is because when they scan the ticket, a face pops up on their little, like, scanner. You're gonna be like, you're not him, and I'm gonna be like, oh, oh, oh. So she didn't have the pass, so we had to go to one of these ticket booths and, like, lie to their faces about who I really was. And so Yvette, I know how she is, like she can take charge of any situation. So I was like, you know what? I'll let you handle it and I'll just stand behind you like a brother does. And so she was telling him like, yeah, my brother right here, he lost his wallet, he can't find his pass. I said, alright, let me look into the system and I'll see what I can get. He clicked on her brother's name, which is Alec. Picture popped up of him from the 6th grade. Now, I know I got a baby face, but I cannot pass for a 6th grader, especially since I'm 6 foot. I had to tell him, like, I don't look like I did when I was in 6th grade. He was like, yeah, that's a big difference. You know, it's kind of like you trying to get into a club with a fake ID. The dude was like this. Just so he didn't see my face, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna call mom and see what she says. And I went like this and I walked away. As I walked away, I could hear that she was taking care of the situation, so I was like, oh my god, I can't believe this is working. As I walked back, she was yelling at me like, I told you not to forget your wallet, you're gonna lose your pass, you do this every time. I just played along, I was like, oh my god, I'm sorry, I didn't know it was gonna happen, mom told me to do this, blah 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 blah. As soon as she handed me the ticket, I was like, I just finessed Disneyland. I am the one, the way your son don't need a gun to get respect. Yeah! And so I got the ticket, I was all happy, I was like, yeah, just finesse Disneyland, what am I gonna do next? Am I gonna steal some churros for some little kids? I totally forgot we still have to get past the entrance, where they scan the ticket and then the picture of the person whose card it is comes up. And so luckily for me, it was like raining, and I could just do this. So when I walked into the booth, I did this, and I just handed them the ticket. The lady looked at me for a second, and then she said, alright, go ahead. And I was like, I can't believe I did this. Like when I walked in, I was like, oh, freaking awesome. Freaking awesome. And ASHLYN and Melissa were like, yeah, we do this all the time. I was like, shut up. Pretty much how I snuck into Disneyland. It took cunning, courage, and some Leonardo DiCaprio acting skills to get into Disneyland. And it also took a professional finesser to do all that stuff. So I was just like, yeah, do you. And thanks again. If you enjoyed it, go follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Go like and subscribe. I'll put the information of all the girls in the description. And I'll catch you guys next time.
I like to make money, get turned. I like to make money, get turned.